Shalom. Just a quick hit. It's uncanny how Jake uses the excuse, the only way out the ghetto is to play sports or something of that nature. And, you know, you begin to wonder, is this just a cop out? Is this what Jake uses because this is what he wants to do, you know? And it's just, it's easy for him. And I'm just was reading and it dawned on me this goes so far back, Jake, in following after his own lust, you know man, put himself in the position, of the world's entertainer, so to speak, because it could have gone a different way. But as always, I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders, bishops, the men of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the house of David, the 144,000, and to the men, women, and children scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. To you I say, of the hopeful elect. To you I say, Shalom. So just like I said, it's just a quick hit. But as always, we begin for us at the beginning, which would be Proverbs 9:9, full circle. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. And how is all of this made possible? How is all of this manifest? How do you bring about these clarities? Well, the fear of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So with that, just like I said, it's just a quick hit. I really don't have any videos or anything to share. You have but to look at this world to understand that, this is how Jake moves. So if we go here to 2nd Maccabees 4, and we'll start at 7. And, we'll kind of see the roots of Jake and this whole everything is sports for Jake. Everything surrounds being around Jake, entertaining, basketball, soccer, football, all of these different avenues that Jake is in now. Well, this is what I would perceive to be the root of all of this. So this is 2nd Maccabees 4:7, and I'll kind of jump around as I go here. It says, but after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes, and I'm probably enunciating these names, but Salakia, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing them. It says, took the kingdom. Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be the high priest, which means he was doing some underhanded deeds. He wasn't coming up through the straight gate. He was coming up another way, and through deceit, through conniving, through maliciousness. It says, promising unto the king by intercession 303 score talents of silver, and of another renew 80 talents. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise. And this is the root of Jake leaving off from the things that he understood, that he knew, you know, and fully committing himself to the ways of the Gentiles, to the ways of the wicked, to things that they weren't for Jake's benefit. And for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen. So there we have it. And to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochus, says, which when the king had granted and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith bought his own nation to the Greekish fashion. So this is Jake doing it to himself. Once again, and no one standing up amongst the wicked and declaring what you're doing is wrong, because he had bought his space, and now he had the backing. He had the backing of Esau. So if you defied him, he could just simply, bring down to bear Esau on you. Because anytime one of our people is doing wicked, you know what I mean? Esau is fully committed to allowing them to push their agenda to the max. It says, when the king had granted and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith bought his own nation to the Greekish fashion, and the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews. So once they got that money involved, you know what I mean, man's greed takes over. By the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid, he took away, and putting down the government which was according to the law, brought up new customs against the law. So again, there's a reason why Jake's in the condition he's in, and why it's still pushed that if you want to get out of this condition, don't return to your law. Pick up a basketball, pick up a football, learn how to bounce the ball, learn how to kick a ball, learn how to throw a discus, learn all of these different traits. It says, for he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat. It says, now such was the height of Greek fashions and increase in heathenish manners through the exceeding profanes of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest. So, like I said, this is just a quick hit. It kind of dawned on me as I was reading, this is why Jake can't do nothing but bounce the ball, or just be some hateful little demon running the streets like they are today. These you know. Matter of fact, we'll get that real quick. Yes, leave that site. I don't want to be there. Salakia, looking for this scripture. This is Isaiah 51 and 20. It says, "Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy power." And, hey, you had a little short just not too long ago. You got YNs, shit, just, OG niggas, man. Wild ass niggas like boars, man. Like bulls running rampant throughout America, you know. And this is it's also fueling that that white fatigue. Get y'all asses out of here. You people created everything that you see. You created black people. You created chaos. You created confusion. You created carnage. And you thought that you could just continue to escape it by moving away from it. But hey, those of us that know, we know death follows you people, man. Plague, disease, carnage, evil, wickedness, it follows you. It not only follows you, but it drips off of you as you move. You're not above anything. Just because you title yourself pure, righteous, and upright. Now, in actuality, you are what you put on on another race of people to describe them. You know, who really is the true black man. You know, sure, you got our people acting like nutbags, but hey, we know who it really is. But like I said, though, this ain't gonna be a long lesson. Just wanted to touch on that gems, and this whole thing with Jake, and all he wants to do is play sports, you know. So anyway, with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders, bishops, men of great millstone, peace and salutations to the 144,000, the hopeful elect, the men, women, and children scattered throughout the four corners of the earth of the hopeful elect. To you I say shalom.